Hey, good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to Atlantic City. I'm going to try discussing some road stories today. I'm going to try to make this as succinct as humanly possible. As a young kid, my father was out of the picture at a very young age, and my mother was an interesting woman, to say the least, who basically advocated parental responsibilities once the old man was out of the picture. And so as a teenager, I had the type of freedom to come and go and do, which I know was much more than the average kid even of that day. In 1972, I took my money that I hustled up cutting people's lawns and doing odd jobs, and bought a ticket to a Grateful Dead concert in Philadelphia at the Spectrum. I didn't really know a whole lot about the band at that point, and didn't know really anything about the subculture that surrounded the band. And when I arrived at the parking lot for the show, it was just this carnival atmosphere. It was just it really needed to be seen to be believed. I was certainly in awe of what was going on. And those people, those hippie kids, now many enough, I was only 12 years old at this point, the very first show. So these people were older than me, some of them significantly older than me. They were the nicest people I've ever met. The most caring about humanity, would do anything for you, would give you the shirt off of their back if you needed it. And I was immediately fascinated by the culture that surrounded the band, and developed a tremendous interest in the music that the Grateful Dead put out. And over the next 7 or 8 years, I guess, I spent a lot of time on the road, on the bus, as they called it, traveling from city to city to see the band and to live in that culture. I wouldn't trade that time on the road for anything. It was an experience that I know for a fact could not be duplicated today. And I feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity to live that life. It was a time that certainly shaped the adult that I became, and subsequently even the parent I assumed that I became. Like I said, I did this basically from the time I was a little kid all the way through high school, up until about the time that I met my wife, which was about 8 years, 7 or 8 years. And I don't know if anybody is interested in any of these stories, because they're a little odd. You know, even the most normal of them are a little odd. But that night, that day, at that concert, I met these people from upstate New York who traveled around. They were older than me. They were probably in their 30s. I'm just a little kid. And I spent a good hour talking to them. And they were willing to teach me, you know, the things that they did to get from place to place and how it all happened. And as I said, subsequently, I spent the next 6 years, 7 years on the bus. Not full time. I would do the East Coast spring tour, the East Coast fall tour. You know, which probably encompassed about 25 or 30 shows per tour. You know, over the course of that decade, I probably saw 250 shows, maybe a little more. Never really paid that close of attention to it. But I got a chance to really see. I got a chance to grow up quickly. And I got a chance to, in many ways, to see the finer parts of humanity. People that really cared, that were really decent people. I know, and I know that you know, dirty hippies sort of had their their detractors. Some of that from the outside, I certainly get. You know, but on the inside, those people they had a heart of gold. They really did. And if you think that some of those stories might be interesting, I will certainly consider telling a few. You know, over time. Not something that's going to be done every day, certainly. But I just wanted to put this out there as a possible topic. Because it is one of those things that I'm sure that most people in this you know, audience didn't get to do. Yeah, I was very fortunate, really very fortunate, that I was able to live that. And I will never thank the universe enough for opening up an opportunity that was really a life-altering thing. So if anyone has any interest in hearing stories of a teenage kid on the road and really living just an odd life, I suppose. I'm sure that by comparison to most, it would be considered a very odd life. But it was wonderful. Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. So I figured I would just throw this out today as a teaser. Just to see if anybody has any interest in it. I won't be discussing the actual concerts themselves. Maybe not. I don't even know. I think the journey getting to and from and just living that life, and I think that's much more interesting than the actual shows themselves, at least to the majority of people. But anyway, hit me up down in the comments if any of this seems remotely interesting. There are stories to tell, that's for sure. And probably a lot of them. But anyway, I'm just going to float this out here today and see if anyone has any sort of interest in hearing the road stories. And well, look, I'll let you guys go. I don't want to keep you all day here. I'm already at 10 minutes farting around and didn't do a damn thing. So I will talk to you later, YouTube, and I'll see you guys soon back up on the boardwalk. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.